Hi, my name's Chris. I'm the Customer Relations Manager here at CrowdComms, and I've just recently passed my probation, so 6 months.
Woof. A good 6 months. It's gone really quick.
It has, yeah.
And it's been an absolute joy, Chris.
Thank you very much. No,
Thank-
I've had a great time
Yeah.
being here, yeah.
Well, it's been good getting to know you. Tell me what you do here.
So, as a Customer Relations Manager, my past sort of experience has been working in the customer service industry. I think it's really important to create a part of a journey, and the journey that I'm trying to create here is going back to previous clients, people who spoke to at exhibitions, and finding out what they've been up to, where they are within the industry, if they're still within the industry, and tell them all the great things that we're doing at CrowdComms and get them back on board, hopefully.
I know you and I and Lee, the commercial director, chatted a lot before you started about what this role could look like, because it was a new role here, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
And two of the things that we said from the start, that we wanted it to be kind of a dual purpose role. One of them was that kind of understanding of the kind of gaps in the product, or perhaps a service area that people wanted us to deliver that we weren't delivering, to understand those requirements so that we could feed it back to the product team, and to make sure that people are aware of what we're doing when we're talking to them. Have you enjoyed one element of that kind of dynamic more than the other?
Well, I think for me, so I'm fairly new within the events industry. I've worked in the industry before. Very comfortable speaking to people and finding and understanding products, that kind of thing. The conversations that I've had, it's been good for me because it's a new industry. It's a bit of an eye opener, so I get to understand a little bit more myself. But I've just had very sort of open conversations. I like to speak to people more often. I think there is a place for calling people back up and having conversations rather than emails. So I get a quite nice response from them. And they've been very open and honest. I think I've been quite honest with them and asked them sort of straight away why I was getting in touch with them. But no, it's been positive. Yeah.
Well, you said you're new to the events industry. You know, you just mentioned there that you can ring people up and they're happy to have conversations.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I found when I joined this industry.
Yeah.
I was amazed at how open people were to having a chat.
Yeah.
Have you found the same?
Yeah, the coloration, when we had that sort of initial chat, yourself and Lee, and what really appealed to me was the cross-reference to previous roles that I've had. That's what I've enjoyed in the past, always being in front of people and having conversations face-to-face. I'm very bad with family on the phone, having conversations. I'd rather sort of see them over video chat or see them in person. So the eye-opener for me in the events industry was how huge it is. I went to a conference, an exhibition very quickly in London, and I was sort of blown away by the size of it. I don't think I really understood the options within the event industry, you know, from design to the actual technology itself. It was new to me, yeah.
Well, just to put you at ease, you know, I'm 9 years into the events industry, and I still very much consider myself a newbie, because there are people here. I think it's such a stressful industry. You know, there's so many people, it's so busy, it's always on the go, and yet no one leaves it.
Yeah.
And so what does that tell you? It tells you that even though it's demanding, even though it's stressful, even though there's long hours, there must be something that's really compelling and exciting about it that keeps people.
And previous roles that I was in before was within technology, and I think technology is fascinating. I think one of the things is that it's always evolving, it's always changing. You always have to keep on top of it. So for your own learning and for keeping the grey matter away, you know, that's what I find personally appealing about the events industry, alongside the technology that I already know.
I loved watching so far the evolution of this role. I've loved your ownership of it. I've loved that you followed a process, and I'm looking at the output of that process, and I'm really, really, really happy with it, because we have got tangible information that we can work with our product director, Will, and his team, and look at it and say, okay, well, you know, this is feedback, and they didn't use us. They weren't able to use us, and we understand now why. And can we do it? You know, can we work on that? And so often looking at it is a combination of technology and the service elements as well that are the reason. So it's a fantastic opportunity again for us to listen, and that's something that we're so focused on.
And I think that's a big part of it is the listening. You know, I'll ask a few questions, but I kind of just sit back and want to get it from them. And what I've found is that because some of the previous clients that I've spoken to, they're quite open to talk a little bit more about it. We do debriefs and after the events if it was successful or not, or what we could change. But I've found, and they've been quite open, saying that they still remember it. They still remember some of the things that happened that we could improve on. But again, just maybe having that little bit of space gap in between makes them want to open up a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's well, the results have been amazing, so I'm really looking forward to it. I've got a few challenging questions for you here.
Okay. Challenge accepted.
What has been, I know it's been 6 months, but it's been a roller coaster. What's been your most memorable event or experience here so far?
So just going back to the exhibition, I think it was just a huge eye-opener. The industries that I've worked in before, I've been to some nice venues, worked the events themselves, but just to see some of the space and the space that it takes, at the Excel in London, taking up most of it, I found that it was almost like a deer in headlights. And when I looked in, it was fascinating. When the moments that I got to go and have a little break and I'd go away and chat to everybody and ask them, because it was so new to me. And again, going back to how friendly everybody was, I could go to a competitor and chat away to them, and they were more than happy to chat back to me. And any sort of interactions that we've had together, if we've worked together, I think with CrowdComms, everybody that works here is so friendly, and we leave an impression with everybody else. So that was probably the most memorable point so far. I've not had so many experiences yet. I've been on a couple of jobs that went well, which was good. But yeah, that's probably the most.
You worked on a really interesting project, a virtual conference for a school, wasn't it? It was like, so inviting potential parents to come and do a welcome day at the school and communicate, meet with the different teachers, get a tour of the school, ask a Q&A. That looked like quite an exciting.
Yeah.
And we were delivering the filming as well as providing the platform.
Yeah.
So
that was something completely new for them, slightly new for us as well. It was a virtual open day looking to reach further out to different parts of the world. It's not long finished, so we've got the debrief booked in for that. So I'll be very excited to hear the feedback on that. But feedback was very good.
I always find it a real honour that people trust us with things that are so business critical to them.
Yeah.
And it comes down to that thing you referenced earlier on, which is trust.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think that if you have honesty and integrity, which I know meeting you the first time I did, that you had both those things, that you set yourself up with the fundamentals to be successful here, believe in our product, believe in the technology, because we've got great people working behind the scenes that do that. And then, just the trust that people have in us to deliver that, I just find it, and I will never take it for granted. Good, okay. How long have you been in the industry? 6 months, we've got that one. If you were the last human on Earth and a zombie apocalypse, I'm glad I could say that, was closing in on you, what skill would you have and why?
My wife and I love watching zombie apocalypse movies, so I'll probably pick up some tips from that. But actually, I volunteer for the Scouts. My son's been in the Scouts since he was 6 years old, for half of his life.
Does he want to be like Bear Grylls? Is that why?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Who doesn't, by the way?
I mean, he's a very cool guy.
Yeah.
Very cool guy. He's watched all these programs. He's actually met him because Bear Grylls is part of the Scout movement. So it's important for me to volunteer because they struggle for volunteers. So that I can have that bonding relationship with my son, as we all need to have with our children. I wanted to volunteer, and I've been lucky enough to, or unlucky sometimes, to go in some of the camps, and I've learned to build fires and cook food and build tents and knots and those kind of things. So I would do all that when the apocalypse kicks in. I'll build stuff.
That is very wholesome, by the way. I'm very impressed with that. I haven't volunteered, and I'm now feeling very guilty about doing it. I do volunteer to play golf with my son, but I mean, that
sounds good as well.
That's not quite as wholesome. If you could have dinner with this is a toughie, by the way. If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be and why?
And a historical figure. Probably. I mean, I think I've thought about that before when you get the question, if you could have all these people around your dinner table. I love my music. I was brought up on music. Lots of people enjoy films, and that's what they like to escape to. I like to escape and listen to music. It brings back lots of fantastic memories. Sometimes it brings back some not so fantastic memories, but I would love to sit at a table with Prince.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been lucky. I got to see him in concert in London. I'd love to. I love hearing stories about musicians and some of the crazy things they've been up to and how they got there in the first place and the journey that they've had. And that would be fascinating. But Prince, and then I'd get him to play me something and sing something, and we'd sing together maybe. And yeah.
If you haven't seen it, there's a video of him and a group of other amazing musicians, lots of different ones. I'll let you go and watch who. Performing While My Guitar Gently Weeps, which is a Beatles song.
Yeah.
And it's on YouTube, and you've got these amazing musicians coming together to do this piece in homage to the Beatles. And at the end, Prince does a guitar solo, which just is just out of this world. It is absolutely spellbinding.
I mean, I haven't seen it, but I can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, just unreal. Yeah. So go and watch that. Good one.
Will do, yeah.
Happy with that. So we've gone from dinner, and so we're talking who, but what is the most unusual thing you've ever eaten?
I think it was when I actually moved down. I wanted to embrace living in England, and I went to London one time and did the traditional pie and liquor, which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But if you have that, you've got to have
The eels, the jellied eels.
Jellied eels, yeah. And I'm quite proud, and I'll say this to my children, you've got to try something at least once. So, I've always had that. I'll do that. I don't think I'd ever try it again. It was, it's an experience.
You've got to say, we said this earlier on when we asked one of our colleagues, what's your advice to someone going in the events industry? And they said, just say yes. And that's a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I
live by that.
Things.
I say to my children that, at least try that once. And if you don't like it, then I can't say any fairer than that. So, but yeah, jellied eels, it's a sensation. Yeah.
I've done it as well. I wasn't particularly keen. In a similar environment, it was one at the pie shops in London and Greenwich. Yeah. Okay, if you could only bring 3 items to a deserted island, what would they be?
Oh, wow. Okay. A deserted island. I mean, it's difficult because I think you would just want to take modern technology, but eventually that, I could say something like, well, my mobile phone, that has music on it or something, and a solar panel, so I could just keep it charged up, that kind of thing. But I guess a good book. Mm-hmm.
What book would you take that's rereadable?
Wow. Well, remember when you were a child, I don't know if they still make them, but you get those adventure fantasy books, and if you can decide which way that you want to go.
Loved them.
And you used to be able to get about 2 or 3 different options, so you'd sort of turn to page 300 and you go to that, and then you go back again. So yeah, maybe one of those. You get a few reads out of that, maybe.
It's one of my ideas, actually, is to leverage our technology on the West End and have a theatre production which has got multiple outcomes. Yeah. So they all rehearse and know the different outcomes, and then midway through the session, they'll say, okay, so we want you, the audience, to decide which route we're taking tonight. So which door would you like us to go through? Please vote now. Yeah. To then be able to vote, and then for that dictates to the audience to drive in which door, and each door has a different journey. With the idea of being able to kind of go back and re-watch a show multiple times with different outcomes, but it's a lottery, so it's...
If it was in a live show? With
a live show. Live show.
Poor actors.
They've just got to learn 5 different scenarios, Good actors can do that, Chris. Well, that's it. I'm sure.
If they want to make it in the big time, yeah.
Yeah, so, right, that wasn't 3 items, though. A book,
a big vat of peanut butter. That's my kind of vice. I love peanut butter.
Yeah, good for content.
Being slapped on the wrist for poking a knife into the peanut butter.
Yeah, better than a finger, though.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, it's
disgusting. Yeah. That's what I do.
And the last one would be, I'd want some sort of form of music. I think that's it. But I don't know.
Do you play guitar?
No, I tried to learn when I was younger. Other things as I got older became more interesting, and that kind of got sort of put to the side. Maybe maybe you got one of those wind-up radios.
Perfect.
Yeah. I wouldn't need batteries. I just keep winding that up and pick up whatever station.
You'd have one really strong arm.
So just
winding it up. Be like that. What's it? Tom Hanks on what was that one where he was deserted?
Oh, well, Wilson.
With Wilson, what was that called?
Shipwreck.
Castaway. Thank you, Castaway.
Shipwreck there, but Castaway.
One giant arm.
That's it.
From all that winding up. I think we'll leave it there. I think we'll leave that there. Yeah, but look, great to speak to you. Loving this role and what you're doing here. Really valuable role. Yeah. Love the fact that you've come in and made it your own and are owning it, and really excited to see what you do with it over the next couple of years.
Thank you very much. Yeah.